Just 1 week ago, we said that if Bitcoin fails to make new lows during this past week, then we will, probabilistically speaking, turn to being, well, looking towards at least a big bounce, maybe even a reversal here for Bitcoin. And several things are moving in the background, and Bitcoin has failed to make new lows in the last week, not only making not making new lows, but also rallying back above $60,000. So in today's video, I want to be speaking about sort of the overall picture here and how that kind of fits in and what to expect next over this next couple of weeks heading into the end of likely this month of July. Anyways, before we get to that, I should let you know that you can still join the Krown School for free with an exchange account in the link in the description below. No credit card required. Holy moly, that's crazy. It does begin in 7 days and 2 hours and 33 minutes and 57 seconds and counting. And again, the link is in the description below. All right, sweet. Enough with the shill, and let's get on to the actual information of the day. Start off with a revisiting of the 5-day setup. So this was a BBWP or volatility versus stochastic momentum setup. We did see that volatility did start to expand officially on that move to the downside for Bitcoin, on that move to $54,000 or so. And in this case, we have not seen continuation to new lows from here. And the reason why that is very much, significant right now is because from the high of this move to the low, or sorry, not to the low, but to the last 5-day closure, which happened last night, it has been officially now 35 days. The reason why 35 days is significant is because we expect this setup to take 35 days on average to play out. So going with the averages and going with the probabilities, we can say that, hey, now that the average amount of days has been hit, and technically speaking, the bottom end of the first standard deviation has also been hit in terms of returns. This did see about a 25.5% move, so it's definitely disappointing. No doubt about that in terms of an actual setup. But hey, it is within the realm of likelihood here. We can say that it is more than likely that this particular move is done to the downside for right now. And at minimum, we should be looking for a big bounce, like bigger than what we've already seen, and perhaps even a major reversal. I mean, again, if you are bullish, if you're, especially if you're looking at this as a bull market, as we went over in yesterday's video the day prior, there's a lot of reasons to be looking at, this current move to the downside is likely the next major low and unlikely to go lower. So with all of that in mind, this is going to start to really strengthen the case for a major reversal here. Of course, in yesterday's video, we did go over the dollar reversal, which I guess we can briefly show again right in over here. Let me actually just get right to it. And of course, that would be providing a bit of a tailwind for Bitcoin, as we do see that the weekly time frame did close on the lows, thus confirming that we have one, a lower high, and then two, if you close on the same lows, well, what must follow after that is likely a lower low. I mean, technically speaking, on a closing basis, is already a lower low, so that is a reversal. Well, alongside the double DMI derp over here, plus the weekly time frame, stochastic also to position to the downside pretty heavily below 105. So putting all the puzzle pieces together, I mean, it does seem like Bitcoin more likely to bounce here. On top of that, we can also look at the daily time frame over here, providing some bullish divergence. We called this one out earlier this week, and it is playing out still. Bitcoin did hit the easy target of that, the 21 exponential moving average, which did come all the way down below $60,000. But ultimately, we do start to look at this as like a major basing area now. Also, on top of that, if we go back on over here to our stochastic momentum chart, we can see that the daily time frame is going to be showing upside momentum, and also did have that bullish divergence, I should add. The 2-day time frame is also going to be showing upside momentum as long as Bitcoin's above 54,800, by the way. And the 3-day time frame is also going to be freshly crossing the upside. Is this a fresh closer? Yeah, it is a fresh closure as of last night, as long as Bitcoin's above $58,000, and also is playing out a trendline regression test going all the way back to May of 2022. Now, admittedly, these regression tests, I mean, one of them was a pretty big bounce here. I mean, to be fair, I mean, this did catch I think it was like the Luna collapse or the FTX collapse, one of those ones, before about a 30% bounce. And then, of course, the next trendline test that we did have over here was actually literally one summer ago. This was literally August, and a lot of similarities between this price action over here and what's going on more recently over here. Obviously, the price action itself, I don't really expect it to work out in like a full-on fractal nature. Those, in my experience, very like whenever people just like copy and paste price action from like a prior area and just put it over here, I don't really see that work too often. But the overall sort of gist of it, I do think works. That is fractal in nature for sure. So we see a lot of things going on in the background. On top of that, the 5-day time frame. the 5-day time frame might even flip around soon too. I mean, if Bitcoin closes above 62,250, that will flip to the upside on the next period, which will close in 5 days from now. Again, this one did just open up last night. So as I peruse my notes over here, I did forget to mention that yes, if we go over to, where is it? Yes, indeed, to our HPDR setup here, we can see that Bitcoin is popping back up to the 38.2 level, 60,600. So I would be looking at that as sort of like the next major barrier for, a confirmation of the next, of like the next sort of explosive move. And we have seen that area tested in the early morning hours basically already here. So, if Bitcoin starts to close back above there, especially on a daily time frame, I would be expecting a move somewhere at least around the median on the HPDR, which is currently $64,000. So I would say in a range between about 64 to 65. At that point, things start to look a lot different, long term. So this is just that ongoing case. And on top of that, now that I recognize it, another thing that we were speaking about, let me get rid of the bands right there. But the HPDRO, right? The HPDRO, we did see this level hit, which doesn't get hit all that often. If it gets hit in a bull market, these have always been major lows, even in some cases, even macro lows, like you see right here. In bear markets, these have been obviously major continuation points, but with the way that Bitcoin's acting here, it's looking more like that it's actually gonna bounce here rather than continue down. Again, whenever we have seen it continue down after that level being hit on the HPDRO, it was in a bear market basically. So you gotta ask yourself the question, or at least I would be asking myself the question, are we in a bear market or a bull market? Like, what's more likely here? And well, if you think it's a bull market, then that's an opportunity. If you think it's a bear market, then that's actually a continuation signal. But we're just not seeing other things that we would expect to see as far as continuation signals would be going if that were to be more likely. So the probabilities are now shifting back in the Bulaw's favor, and I would be looking at this as not necessarily a signal that Bitcoin's going to like blast on to new highs from exactly here, like today or tomorrow. But, throughout the month of July and probably even a good portion of August as well, likely working its way back up and just kind of filling out this space and getting ready for a move, maybe late August, early September, something like this, and we'd be expecting the higher lows somewhere around, the mid to low $60,000. And, from there, sets it up for a move, likely end of summer, basically. So that is how the case is evolving as time transpires, which always makes us fun. So I think that's probably a good place for me to leave it off on this video. Another short one as well, short and sweet, but it's weekend time. Very few people watching, which is all good. And let's prepare for the next week to come. Of course, if you are looking for an actual trading plan this coming week, you maybe check out the last video in the trade strategy breakdown playlist, as there's literally a strategy that you can only play on Mondays, which historically has been hilariously good, or at least in my opinion, decently enough good to award it some merit. So I'll leave you right there. Again, the strategy playlist, the strategy breakdown playlist is somewhere there on YouTube for you. It'll probably show up at the end of this video. So with all of that said, I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love. And I don't have a TikTok video for you today, but I can assure you I got some good ones coming tomorrow. All right, take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.